The massive alien ships appeared in Earth's solar system without warning, their dark hulls blocking out the stars. Admiral Kexmore stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the small blue planet through the viewport. His reptilian eyes gleamed with satisfaction as he studied the primitive world below. Another easy conquest, he hissed to his second-in-command. These humans barely have technology to leave their own planet. The Velteran Empire had conquered 47 star systems in the past century. Each victory had been swift and decisive. The Empire's advanced weapons and shields made them nearly unstoppable against lesser civilizations. Earth would be no different. Commander Lee Minho was working the night shift at Luna Station when the alarm started screaming. Through the observation deck windows, he watched in horror as massive alien vessels emerged from the darkness. Their weapons charged with an ominous red glow. "All stations, this is Luna Base." Minho spoke into his communicator with shaking hands. "We have unknown hostile contacts. Repeat, we are under attack." The first plasma blast tore through Luna Station's outer hull like paper. Emergency lights flickered as the station shuddered under the assault. Minho grabbed the evacuation protocols, but it was too late. Alien soldiers were already boarding through the breach. On Earth, Admiral Park Soo-jin received the emergency transmission at Pacific Defense Command. The holographic display showed red dots surrounding their orbital installations. Her staff rushed around the command center, trying to coordinate a response to an enemy they had never seen before. "Ma'am, Luna Base has gone silent," reported Captain Kim Do-won. "Mars Colony is requesting immediate evacuation." Soo-jin watched the tactical display with growing dread. Earth's defenses were designed for conflicts with other human nations, not alien invaders. Their weapons seemed useless against the enemy's advanced shielding. Within 6 hours, the aliens had captured every human installation beyond Earth's atmosphere. 3,000 civilians were taken prisoner, loaded onto alien transport ships, like cargo. The attack had been swift, brutal, and completely one-sided. The alien commander's face appeared on every screen across Earth. Kexmore's reptilian features filled the displays as he delivered his ultimatum. His voice was cold and mechanical through the translation system. "Primitive humans of Earth," he began, his forked tongue flicking between his words. "I am Admiral Kexmore of the Velteran Empire. Your pathetic defenses have fallen. Your people are now our prisoners." Lieutenant Colonel Choi Yunbi watched the broadcast from her underground bunker in Seoul. Around her, military personnel stood frozen as they listened to the aliens' demands. The creature's eyes held no mercy, no hint of compassion. "You have one of your planet's rotations to surrender unconditionally," Kexmore continued. "Submit to Imperial rule and your people will serve as useful slaves. Resist and watch them suffer beyond your imagination." The broadcast showed images of human prisoners being herded into alien holding cells, families torn apart, children crying for their parents. The message was clear: comply or watch your own species suffer. Major Lim Se-ra clenched her fists as she watched the footage from her fighter squadron's briefing room. The pilots around her muttered angrily, but what could they do? Their jets were built for atmospheric combat, not space warfare. Captain Han Woo-sung monitored the alien fleet from his position at Deep Space Tracking Station. The enemy ships were massive, each one larger than Earth's biggest aircraft carriers. Their technology was clearly centuries ahead of anything humans possessed. "How do we fight something like that?" whispered his communications officer. Admiral Soo-jin stood before Earth's combined military leadership 12 hours after the attack. Representatives from every nation had gathered for an emergency session. The weight of 3 billion lives rested on their decision. "They want our unconditional surrender," she announced to the assembled officers. "They've demonstrated their superior firepower. Our orbital defenses were destroyed in hours." General Thompson from the American forces shook his head. "We can't just give up. There has to be another way." "What choice do we have?" asked Colonel Petrov from the Russian delegation. "Our weapons can't even scratch their ships." Soo-jin looked around the room at the faces of Earth's finest military minds. She saw fear, anger, and desperation. But underneath it all, she saw something else. a stubborn refusal to accept defeat that had defined humanity throughout its history. "We need time to consider their offer," she said finally. "I'll send a response requesting additional time for our surrender preparations." The alien admiral's reply came within the hour. His scaled face showed amusement at what he perceived as human weakness. "You have 6 more rotations to prepare your surrender ceremony," Kexmore announced. "Do not test our patience further." As the transmission ended, Sujin turned to her staff. What the aliens didn't know was that Earth had been preparing for this possibility for decades. Deep space sensors had detected alien probe ships years earlier. Humanity's greatest minds had been working in secret, developing contingency plans. The Veltarans had made their first mistake. They assumed human compliance meant human weakness. They had no idea what they had just awakened. Admiral Park. Sujin smiled grimly as she activated protocols that had been waiting in silence for this exact moment. Earth's response was about to begin. The countdown clock in Admiral Park Sujin's command center showed 18 hours until the surrender deadline. Around her, military officers moved with quiet purpose, their faces showing none of the defeat the aliens expected. Sujin pressed a red button that had been sealed for 7 years. "Phoenix Protocol is now active," she announced. "All hidden units begin immediate deployment." Across the solar system, installations that had appeared to be simple mining operations or research stations suddenly revealed their true nature. Captain Kim Do-won watched from his position in the asteroid belt as massive weapons platforms emerged from hollowed-out rocks. The deception had taken decades to complete. "Stealth generators offline," Do-won reported. "Weapon systems charging. We are ready for combat." On the dark side of the moon, Lieutenant Colonel Choi Yun-bi supervised the activation of humanity's most secret project. The facility had been disguised as a geological survey station, but beneath the surface lay Earth's most advanced spacecraft. Sleek fighters and destroyers that incorporated technology reverse-engineered from alien probe crashes. "All pilots to stations," Yun-bi commanded. "This is what we trained for." The Veltaran fleet remained in high orbit around Earth, confident in their superiority. Admiral Kexmore reviewed the human surrender preparations with satisfaction. His sensors showed only primitive communication satellites and weather monitoring stations. "These humans are even more pathetic than I thought," he told his tactical officer. "Their technology hasn't advanced in decades. What Kexmore's sensors couldn't detect were the human ships using advanced stealth technology." Major Lim Sira piloted her fighter through the debris field of destroyed orbital stations, moving closer to the alien fleet. Her squadron had been waiting for this moment for 3 years. "Ghost leader to all units," she whispered into her comm. "We are weapons-free. Target the command ships first." Captain Han Woo-sung watched the tactical display from his hidden command post inside an apparently dead asteroid. Dozens of green dots representing human forces surrounded the red alien fleet. The enemy had no idea they were already surrounded. "All units report ready," Woo-sung confirmed. "Admiral Sujin, you have go for Operation Thunderstorm." Back on Earth, Sujin opened a communication channel to the alien fleet. Her image appeared on Kexmore's bridge, but something was different about her expression. The fear and desperation were gone, replaced by cold determination. "Admiral Kexmore," she began calmly. "Thank you for giving us time to prepare. We've made our decision." Kexmore leaned forward in his command chair, expecting to hear Earth's surrender. Instead, Sujin's next words chilled him to his core. "We reject your terms, and we want our people back." The attack began instantly. Human ships decloaked throughout the alien formation, their weapons already charged and ready. Plasma cannons that matched Veltaran technology tore into enemy hulls. The aliens' superior shields meant nothing when the attacks came from every direction at once. Lieutenant Commander Oh Ji-hoon led his destroyer squadron against the alien troop transports. His primary mission was rescuing the human prisoners, but first he had to get through the enemy escort ships. "Target their engines," he ordered his weapons officer. "Disable them, don't destroy them. Our people are on those ships." Kexmore's flagship shuddered under direct hits from multiple human vessels. Warning lights flashed across his bridge as damage reports flooded in. His tactical officer stared at the displays in disbelief. "Sir, they have weapons equal to ours. Their ships are using our own shield frequencies." "Impossible," Kexmore roared. "They're primitives. How do they have this technology?" Captain Nam Hyejin provided the answer as her battlecruiser engaged 2 Veltaran destroyers simultaneously. "We've been studying your probe ships for 30 years, she broadcast on all frequencies. "Did you really think we wouldn't learn?" The battle raged for 6 hours. Human forces fought with desperate precision, knowing they were outnumbered but determined to rescue their captured people. Every tactical lesson learned from captured alien technology was put to use. Colonel Yoon Tae-min's boarding team struck the prison ships while the space battle continued around them. Moving through alien corridors with practiced efficiency, they reached the holding cells where thousands of humans waited in fear. "This is Earth Defense Corps," Tae-min announced as his soldiers cut through the cell barriers. "We're here to take you home." The freed prisoners wept with relief as they were loaded onto rescue shuttles. Families torn apart by the alien attack were reunited in the shuttle bays of human ships. As the battle turned in humanity's favor, Admiral Kexmore faced a reality he had never encountered. His superior fleet was being defeated by supposedly primitive opponents. Half his ships were destroyed or disabled, and the humans showed no signs of stopping. "Signal retreat," he commanded desperately. "All ships withdraw to hyperspace." The surviving Veltaran vessels fled the solar system, leaving behind wreckage and the knowledge that they had severely underestimated their enemy. Admiral Su Jin watched them go from her command center, but her expression remained grim. "This isn't over," she told her staff. "They'll be back with reinforcements, and next time, they won't underestimate us." Captain Kim Do-won checked his weapons systems as the alien fleet disappeared. "What are your orders, Admiral?" Su-jin's reply sent a chill through every human who heard it. "We follow them home. It's time they learned what happens when you threaten Earth's children." The awakening was complete. Humanity had revealed its true strength, and the galaxy would never be the same. 3 weeks after the Veltaran fleet's retreat, Admiral Kexmore sat in his command bunker on the fortress world of Nexus Prime. His scaled hands trembled as he reviewed the reports flooding in from across the Empire. Human ships had been spotted in 17 different star systems, and none of his commanders could explain how they had gotten there so quickly. "The supply convoy to Sector 7 has gone missing," reported his intelligence officer. "That's the 3rd one this week." Kexmore slammed his fist on the tactical display. "How are these primitives moving through our territory undetected? Our sensors should pick up their ships from light years away." What the Veltaran admiral didn't understand was that humans had spent decades studying alien probe ships that had crashed on Earth. Captain Nam Hyejin's research team had reverse-engineered not just weapons and shields, but also cloaking technology that surpassed even Veltaran capabilities. Major Lim Sira piloted her stealth frigate through the outer reaches of the Kepler system, her ship invisible to enemy sensors. Behind her, a Veltaran supply convoy moved, slowly toward their mining operation on the 4th planet. The aliens had no idea death was approaching. "Ghost Squadron, prepare for silent running," Sira whispered into her comm. "Remember, we want their supplies and information, not their lives, unless they resist." Lieutenant Commander O.G. Hoon monitored the convoy from his position near the asteroid belt. His ship's advanced sensors tracked every movement of the enemy vessels. The Veltarans had gotten careless, assuming their territory was safe from human attack. 6 escort ships, 12 transports, Ji-hoon reported. Standard formation. They're not expecting trouble. The human attack came without warning. Sera's fighters emerged from stealth at point-blank range, their weapons targeting the convoy's engines and communication arrays. The escort ships tried to respond, but they were already disabled before they could fire a shot. Captain Han Woo-sung's boarding teams moved through the captured transports with practiced efficiency. The Veltaran crews surrendered quickly, terrified by stories of human brutality that had spread throughout their fleet. "Secure all data cores," Woo-sung ordered his soldiers, "and check the cargo holds. We need to know what they're moving through our territory." The captured intelligence revealed the locations of 3 major Veltaran bases and the movement schedules of their entire 4th Fleet. More importantly, It showed that the aliens were planning to attack Earth again with a force 5 times larger than their first attempt. Admiral Park Soo-jin studied the intelligence reports from her new command ship, the Earth Defense Corps' newest battlecruiser. The vessel had been built using captured alien technology, making it faster and more powerful than anything in the Veltaran fleet. "They're gathering forces at the Rigel shipyards," she told her staff. "If we let them complete their preparations, they'll have enough ships to overwhelm our defenses." Colonel Yoon Tae-min stepped forward. "My special operations teams can infiltrate the facility. We'll destroy their fleet before it launches." Soo-jin nodded. "Do it. But remember, we're not just fighting a war. We're sending a message to every alien civilization in the galaxy. Earth will not be threatened." The raid on Rigel shipyards became legendary among human forces. Taemin's commandos infiltrated the massive facility using stolen Veltaran identification codes. Moving through the station like ghosts, they planted explosive charges on 12 capital ships under construction. Lieutenant Colonel Choi Eun-bi provided air support as the commandos made their escape. Her fighter squadron engaged the station's defenses, while Taemin's teams fought their way to the extraction point. "Charges set," Taemin reported as his shuttle lifted off from the station. 30 seconds to detonation. The explosion lit up the Rigel system like a new star. 12 battleships worth billions of credits were destroyed in an instant, along with the construction facilities that had taken decades to build. The message was clear. Nowhere in Veltaran space was safe from human retaliation. Captain Kim Do-won led the next phase of the campaign, targeting communication relays throughout the Empire. His cyber warfare specialist had learned to hack Veltaran networks, turning their own technology against them. "Upload the virus," Do-won ordered as his ship approached another relay station. "Let's see how they like fighting blind." The psychological effect on Veltaran forces was devastating. Supply ships traveled in fear, never knowing when human raiders might strike. Communication blackouts left commanders unable to coordinate their defenses. Entire sectors went dark as human infiltrators sabotaged key installations. Admiral Kexmore found himself fighting an enemy unlike any the Empire had faced before. Other civilizations had fought honorable fleet battles, accepting defeat when their military forces were destroyed. Humans fought like predators, striking from shadows and disappearing before retaliation was possible. "They're not soldiers," he reported to the High Command during a secure transmission. "They're hunters. They study us, learn our weaknesses, and exploit them without mercy." The Empire's response was brutal. Veltaran forces began executing alien civilians in territories they controlled, hoping to force humanity to fight conventional battles. This was their greatest mistake. When reports of the massacres reached Earth, something changed in Admiral Soo-jin's eyes. The last traces of mercy disappeared, replaced by cold fury that chilled even her own officers. "New orders for all units," she announced. "No more selective targeting. Any Veltaran military force that participates in civilian killings is to be eliminated completely. No survivors." The hunt had begun in earnest, and humanity had abandoned all pretense of civilized warfare. The war changed completely when Admiral Kexmore made his final mistake. Desperate to force humans into open battle, he ordered the execution of captured civilians on 3 different worlds. The broadcasts were sent directly to Earth, showing innocent families being killed while Veltaran soldiers laughed. Admiral Park Soo-jin watched the footage in silence from her command ship. Around her, officers wept openly as they saw children, murdered for no reason other than to send a message. When the transmission ended, Soo-jin's voice was deadly calm. "All units, this is Admiral Soo-jin. Rules of engagement have changed. Any Veltaran military personnel involved in civilian killings are to be eliminated. No prisoners. No mercy." Captain Han Woo-sung received the new orders while his ship approached a Veltaran patrol base. His boarding teams had been preparing for a standard capture mission, but now everything was different. The aliens had crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. "You heard the Admiral," Woo-sung told his soldiers. "These aren't just enemy combatants anymore. They're murderers." The assault on Patrol Base Omega-7 lasted only 20 minutes. Wusung's Marines moved through the station like avenging spirits, showing the same mercy the aliens had given to human children. When it was over, the base's entire crew was dead, and their computer systems had been stripped of all intelligence. Data. Colonel Yoon Tai-min's special forces took the new orders even further. His teams began hunting down specific Velturan officers who had participated in the civilian executions. Using captured intelligence and infiltration techniques, they tracked their targets across multiple star systems. Target confirmed, Tai-min whispered into his comm as he watched Commander Zektal through his scope. The alien officer was responsible for the deaths of 200 humans on the mining world of Kepler 438. Taking the shot, the psychological effect on Veltaran forces was immediate and devastating. Officers who had participated in civilian killings began to disappear one by one. Some were found dead in their quarters. Others vanished completely, leaving only bloodstains and human calling cards. Lieutenant Commander Oh Ji-hoon demonstrated human persistence during the siege of Fortress Station Gamma. The massive military base had been designed to withstand attacks from entire fleets, but humans didn't attack it directly. Instead, they cut off all supply lines and waited. Day 47 of the siege, Ji-hoon reported to Admiral Soo-jin. Their food supplies are nearly exhausted. They're requesting terms for surrender. Soo-jin's response was broadcast to the entire Veltaran garrison. There are no terms. You killed our children. Now you die. The fortress held out for 63 days before the garrison attempted to break through the human blockade. Every ship that tried to escape was destroyed. When the station's life support finally failed, 3,000 Veltaran soldiers died in the cold vacuum of space. Major Lim Se-ra led hunting packs of human fighters throughout Veltaran territory. Her squadrons had perfected the art of hit-and-run attacks, striking without warning and disappearing before enemy reinforcements could arrive. Contact bearing 27 Mark IV, her sensor operator reported. Single Veltaran cruiser. Minimal. Escort. Sarah smiled coldly. Perfect. All fighters, attack formation Delta. Let's make this quick. The alien cruiser didn't stand a chance. Human fighters swarmed around it like angry insects, their weapons tearing through shields and armor, with ruthless precision. Within minutes, the ship was a drifting wreck. Captain Nam Hyejin's battle group encountered a Veltaran convoy trying to evacuate civilians from a border world. Under the old rules of war, the human fleet would have let them pass. But these weren't civilians being evacuated. They were the families of military officers who had participated in human massacres. Admiral Soo-jin, requesting clarification, Hyejin transmitted. We have enemy dependents attempting to flee the combat zone. Soo-jin's response came within minutes. If their parents killed our children, then they chose their fate. No one escapes. Justice. The convoy was destroyed completely. News of the attack spread throughout Veltaran space, causing panic among military families. Entire worlds began to surrender rather than face human retaliation. Admiral Kexmore found himself commanding a rapidly shrinking fleet as more ships deserted or switched sides. His officers were terrified of the humans, who seemed to be everywhere at once. No base was safe, no convoy was secure. Sir, we've lost contact with the entire 7th Fleet, his communications officer reported with a shaking voice. Their last transmission was a distress signal from the Vega system. Kexmore stared at the tactical display showing red zones where human forces had eliminated entire Veltaran units. Half his empire was now under human control, or had been abandoned due to constant attacks. How do we fight an enemy that doesn't accept surrender? He asked his remaining staff. They hunt us like animals. Captain Kim Do-won provided the answer during his raid on the Veltaran High Command facility. His cyber warfare team had infiltrated their central computer network, stealing military plans and broadcasting human propaganda to every screen in the Empire. This is Captain Kim Do-won of Earth Defense Corps, his message began. To all Veltaran forces, you started this war by attacking innocent people. You made it personal when you murdered our children. Now you will learn what humans do to those who threaten our families. The broadcast showed footage of destroyed Veltaran bases, captured officers being interrogated, and human forces advancing through alien territory like an unstoppable tide. There is no escape. There is no mercy. There is only justice. Admiral Kexmore realized his empire was doomed. The humans would never stop hunting them. Admiral Kexmore's remaining fleet gathered at the edge of Veltaran home space, making their final stand above the Empire's capital world. Only 40 ships remained from what had once been the galaxy's most powerful military force. The alien commander stared at the tactical display, watching as human forces approached from multiple directions. "They're coming from everywhere," his tactical officer whispered. "How did they move so many ships without us detecting them?" Through the bridge viewport, Kexmore could see the lights of his homeworld below. Billions of Veltarans lived on that planet, including his own family. The humans had driven him back to the one place he couldn't abandon, the one place he had to defend no matter the cost. Admiral Park Soo-jin stood on the bridge of her flagship as the human fleet emerged from hyperspace. Behind her stretched the largest military force Earth had ever assembled. 300 ships built with captured alien technology and crewed by warriors who had learned to fight without mercy. "All units maintain formation," Soo-jin commanded. "Remember, we're not here for conquest, we're here for justice." Captain Han Woo-sung monitored the enemy formation from his battle cruiser. The Veltaran fleet was arranged in a desperate defensive screen around their homeworld. They knew they were outnumbered and outgunned, but they had nowhere left to run. "Admiral, the enemy fleet is requesting communication," Woo-sung reported. Soo-jin nodded. "Put them through. It's time to end this." Kexmore's scaled face appeared on the human flagship's main screen. The proud admiral who had attacked Earth months ago now looked broken and defeated. His eyes showed the haunted look of someone who had seen his entire civilization brought to its knees. "Admiral Soo-jin," he began, his voice barely steady. "My fleet is prepared to surrender. We ask only that you spare our homeworld." Soo-jin's expression remained cold as ice. "You came to our system without warning. You captured our people. You murdered our children. Why should we show you mercy you never showed us?" Before Kexmore could respond, Soo-jin gestured to her science officer. Lieutenant Colonel Choi Yun-bi stepped forward, carrying a device that made the alien admiral's blood run cold. "Do you know what this is?" Soo-jin asked. "It's a stellar destabilizer. We built it using your own technology, improved with human engineering. One shot at your sun, and this entire system becomes a supernova." Kexmore stared at the weapon in horror. "You wouldn't. There are billions of innocent people on my world. Just like there were innocent people on our orbital stations," Soo-jin replied. "Just like the children you executed to frighten us. Tell me, Admiral, where was your mercy then?" Captain Nam Hee-jin watched from her destroyer as the alien fleet began to waver. Several ships were already powering down their weapons, their crews unwilling to face annihilation for their leaders' mistakes. "Admiral Soo-jin," she reported, "enemy vessels are requesting individual surrender. They're abandoning their formation." Major Lim Sira's fighter squadrons surrounded the remaining loyal ships. Her pilots had fought in every major battle of the HFY War, and they showed no signs of backing down now. The aliens could see human fighters positioned at every angle, ready to strike. "This is your final chance," Soo-jin announced to the entire Veltaran fleet. "Return every human prisoner you've taken. Withdraw your forces from the buffer zone around Earth. Accept permanent restrictions on your military operations. Or watch your civilization burn." Colonel Yoon Taemin's voice came over the comm from his position near the planet's surface. "Admiral, I'm detecting massive prisoner transport ships launching from the surface. They're loaded with human captives." Soo-jin watched as dozens of alien ships rose from the planet below, carrying thousands of human prisoners who had been held in secret facilities across the Empire. Men, women, and children who had been captured during the initial attack were finally being returned. Lieutenant Commander Oh Ji-hoon's medical teams prepared to receive the freed prisoners. Many had been held for months under harsh conditions, but they were alive. The sight of human faces on the transport ships brought tears to the eyes of hardened soldiers. "All prisoners accounted for," Ji-hoon reported. "They're coming home." Admiral Kexmore made his final transmission to the human fleet. His voice carried the weight of absolute defeat. The Veltaran Empire formally surrenders to Earth. We accept all terms. We will never again threaten human space. Captain Kim Do-won watched as the alien fleet powered down completely. Ships that had once terrorized dozens of worlds now drifted helplessly, their crews preparing for whatever punishment the humans decided to impose. But Sujin's next words surprised everyone, including her own officers. "The war is over," she announced on all frequencies. Veltaran military forces will withdraw to their core worlds. A neutral zone will be established. Any future aggression against Earth or its allies will result in immediate retaliation. The human fleet began to withdraw, leaving behind a broken empire and a galaxy that now understood a simple truth. Earth could be patient. Earth could be reasonable. But Earth would never again allow itself to be threatened. As the ships prepared for the journey home, Sujin looked out at the stars. Somewhere in the darkness, other civilizations were receiving reports of humanity's victory. The message was clear. Earth had drawn a line among the stars and none would dare cross it again. The reckoning was complete. Humanity had proven itself to the galaxy, and the universe would never be the same.